ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this new edition of Living in Cyberspace. So, how old are you these days? Would you consider yourself a Generation Z, Generation X, a millennial, the silent generation, or the baby boomer? The reason why I'm asking you this is because the world has changed so much over the last few decades that it's almost impossible to keep a track on how the people think, how the people work, how they communicate, they shop. Everything nowadays is through technology, which a couple of generations ago, this didn't used to be the normal thing. So what is normal? Internet and wireless and everything related with cyberspace is bloody everywhere. Just mobiles alone. They didn't used to be the design that we know and love so much these days. They didn't used to have apps or a camera or a wonderful color screen. They can be lifesavers these days, but when I saw the beginning of the mobile phones, they were these massive heavy boxes designed with just a tiny screen where you could see who was calling and maybe the numbers that you were dialing to call someone, or maybe just to send a text message that was usually very complicated to type. So technology can certainly be a blessing in disguise, but also, depending on how you use it, can also turn into a quite dangerous tool. Am I sounding dramatic? I don't know. That's completely up to your own judgment. But how do you use the internet yourself? How do you use this cyberspace on your own daily life? What kind of apps do you have on your mobile phone? What do you use the internet for? Do you use it more for social media, for communication, to do research, online reading, listening to music, e-commerce, or just to order your next Uber service? Let's see what random volunteers on WhatsApp app have to say about technology and living in cyberspace.
Hello everyone. I think this topic is really interesting because I want to say you how was the transition in case of millennials, because I born in 93. How was all the different stages of technology during my life, and obviously all this kind of generation that has to live. And we are going to start, for example, during the childhood. When I lived my childhood, it was in 93 to 2007 probably. And in that part of the years, we didn't have a lot of technology because, for example, during 2000, less than 2000, we just have, for example, probably video games or this kind of, or started the cell phones, but we didn't have the access for a cell phone. When you were a child, you didn't have the access for a cell phone. The only technology that you can have was the TV. And that was amazing because you just watch cartoons, you play outside, you play with dolls, with Tamagotchis, video games, but in just 2D. After, when I lived my my adolescence and in the middle school, I remember, for example, that the technology was faster. We had the internet, we have the SMS, we had the Hi-Fi, Metroflog, those kind of social medias that started just with one post per day. And it was amazing because you didn't forget the contact with people, because you continue to talk with them by cell phone and etc. And actually, for example, now in adulthood, we use the technology just for job, for working. So for that reason, I think the technology passing an excellent moment in my life.
Nice to meet you. I'm an English teacher and, well, I love to play in my classes. The thing is that I used to do it using flashcards. You know, guys, those that you have to do using cardboards, markers, pasting pictures. But now I'm becoming a really DIGI English teacher. Since I use apps like Mentimeter, Canvas, Kahoot, and of course, quizzes, my students really love to participate in class. All of us spend fun time together, and most of all, they learn very fast.
Technology, the internet, smartphones, they can be a distraction from connecting with the people closest to us in the here and now. Several people in the same room, glued to their smart device screens, barely noticing each other or their immediate environment. Not here in the present, missing the here and now, the stillness of the moment, the chance to be at one with the present and notice the little things in their environment, bringing distance between themselves and their loved ones in favor of a virtual world. The world can be a scary place. War and violent crime are on the increase, not to mention the stresses of the last few years due to the pandemic, ever more heightened by the repeated pings throughout the day of instant notifications on our smartphones. Never before has the news been so readily available, and this can cause stress and anxiety too. On the flip side, the internet and our smartphones allow us to stay connected in a way that was previously impossible. We can share messages, photographs and videos and live chat with our friends and loved ones in all corners of the globe, helping us to keep and even deepen connections with our friends in other countries and follow their journeys along this beautiful path we call life. I feel that, like with most things, it's about being mindful and trying to create a balance. If we are smart about our use of smart devices, they can be an invaluable tool in enriching our lives. But for me, it's important not to overuse or become dependent on them, to not let them hinder my connections in the physical world, and to take time out to distance myself from the negativity of the media. Instead, I can use my devices for positive communication with my friends, for research into my spiritual growth, and even creating a healthier, more balanced diet based on local produce. I've learned a great deal through my smart devices, and I'm grateful for the positive things they can bring, but I'm ever mindful to not let them distract me from enjoying the here and now and being at one with my immediate environment.
Technology and life. Technology is a means to an end. I think that clarification is rather required to start that idea. Why is that? Because, for example, it helps to make something much more easier, or at least something rather approachable. For example, languages and its learning. If I want to read or get introduced to a language, then it might be good to start searching for some tutorials. And that very idea could be useful to any kind of particular interest using any kind of technology, such as internet.
What do I use the internet for? Well, I use it mostly for work. Because I am a teacher, I use the internet to create engaging activities for my students. I also use it to create presentations to have some vocabulary. But I also use it to collaborate with other teachers to create exams that are really efficient, and also to communicate with my bosses via email. But not everything is about work. I also watch some videos on YouTube and use streaming services like Netflix or HBO. And from time to time, I also watch people play video games on Twitch. I also use it to communicate with my family and friends. Although I mainly use WhatsApp, I from time to time use FaceTime. And other times, we just use normal cell phone communication. Because why not? What about you? What do you use the internet for?